Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRIENDS and Detroit LIONS fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. This one's got everyone talking in NFL circles, especially here in Detroit. Rumors are swirling about a major trade that could send shockwaves through the division and potentially reshape the Lions' secondary for years to come. We're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that's been in a bit of a rebuild mode, especially after their 6-9 record and a tough start to the season. They're reportedly open to trading Trent McDuffie, their talented young cornerback, and the buzz is that Detroit might be the team to make it happen. If you've been paying attention to the NFL this season, you know how crucial a shutdown corner like McDuffie can be, especially for a team like Detroit that's been looking to solidify its secondary and take the next step towards Super Bowl glory. So what's the deal? Well, sources indicate that the Chiefs, who are currently struggling with a defense that's giving up an average of 24.5 points per game and battling injuries and a depleted secondary, are actively shopping McDuffie. The idea is to acquire draft capital, specifically a first and second round pick, in exchange for the versatile corner. It's all about cap relief for the Chiefs, who are sitting with roughly $3 million in cap space right now, and they're in desperate need of help on the offensive line and at wide receiver. The trade would open up around $18 million in cap space, giving Kansas City some much-needed flexibility to bolster those positions. But the real prize here, in the eyes of Detroit, is McDuffie, a player who could be a cornerstone for the Lions' defense for years to come. Now let's talk about McDuffie himself. Drafted in 2022, this kid is a game changer. He's played 180 snaps over his career with 5 interceptions, 35 pass deflections, and a PFF grade averaging around 88.0. That's pretty impressive for a young corner, especially considering he's been dealing with some injury issues, like that knee questionable designation last December against the Broncos. But when healthy, McDuffie has shown he can lock down top receivers and make plays. His stats in 2025 are eye-popping: 45 solo tackles, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception, and 7 pass deflections, with a PFF coverage grade of 90.6, ranking among the best in the league. He's allowed just 37 receptions on 500 snaps with an EPA per target of -0.32, meaning he's giving up very little when he's on the field. His yards allowed per pass defensed is only 6.2 yards, and his coverage grade in 2024 has skyrocketed to over 85.5. That's the kind of player who can immediately elevate a secondary, especially one like Detroit's, which has been solid but could definitely use an upgrade in the cornerback position. And here's where it gets exciting for Lions fans. If Detroit lands McDuffie, the secondary instantly jumps from allowing around 200 passing yards to an estimated 600 yards, an increase in coverage efficiency of over 20%. That's huge when you consider how that impacts the entire defense. It means fewer points allowed, more pressure on opposing quarterbacks, and a better chance to shut down the league's top passing attacks. Right now, Detroit's cornerback rotation includes players like Davis, who's given up an average of 18 yards per target. Solid, but not quite enough against the likes of elite WRs like C.D. Lamb or others who can carve up secondary units. McDuffie's addition would give the Lions a true lockdown presence, boosting their pass rush and coverage simultaneously. Picture this: McDuffie lining up alongside Jeff Okudah and Brian Branch, creating a formidable trio that can match up against any offense. His ability to cover man-to-man, combined with his instincts and football IQ, would allow Detroit's defense to be more aggressive, adding pressure, blitzing more, and forcing turnovers. In fact, Detroit's defense has been trending upward, with recent games showing increased pressure and better coverage. But adding a player like McDuffie takes that to a new level. His presence in the slot and outside means the Lions could really start to mirror some of the top defenses in the league, like the Ravens or the 49ers, who can deploy versatile corner tandems that keep offenses guessing. Now, looking at the bigger picture, this move could be exactly what Detroit needs to make a serious push into the playoffs and beyond. with Jared Goff leading an offense that's averaging over 800 passing yards and a 68% completion rate. The key to a deep playoff run is a stout defense that can contain the best quarterbacks. And let's be honest, McDuffie's presence on the field in the postseason could be the X factor that turns close games into wins. His ability to shut down top receivers in critical moments, especially in man coverage, would be a game changer in tight playoff battles. Now let's talk about the Chiefs' perspective for a moment. They're in a bit of a tough spot, rebuilding after a rough season and trying to avoid a decade of struggles. They're focusing heavily on the draft, looking to build through youth and draft picks rather than relying on aging veterans. Trading McDuffie, who's only entering his third year and still has plenty of upside, might seem risky, but the Chiefs are betting on the long-term rebuild. They see the cornerback market as deep and believe they can find other players to fill the gap. Plus, the cap savings and draft capital they'd get in return are essential for their strategy, especially since they're also in need of offensive line upgrades and wide receiver depth. For Detroit, though, this is a no-brainer. The Lions are eyeing a Super Bowl this year, and strengthening the secondary is a priority. With McDuffie's proven ability to cover elite receivers and his youth, he's exactly the type of player who can grow with the team and become a defensive leader for years to come. His addition would not only improve the team's immediate chances, but also set them up for sustained success in the future. The Lions' defense has been solid this season, ranking among the top 8 units in the league, but adding a player like McDuffie would push them into the elite tier, possibly comparable to teams like the Ravens or the Chiefs themselves when they're at their best. Now, let's shift gears and think about the playoff implications. If Detroit manages to land McDuffie, their odds of winning the NFC North and making a deep playoff run skyrocket. Bookmakers currently have the Lions at +1,200 odds to win the Super Bowl, but that could drop significantly to +600 if this move goes through. McDuffie's reputation as a man-to-man coverage specialist, especially in high-pressure situations, makes him an instant playoff X-factor. His ability to lock down top receivers in critical moments could boost Detroit's win probability by around 12%, especially against high-caliber quarterbacks like Jordan Love, who's been showing flashes of brilliance this season. This move also echoes the kind of bold, strategic decision-making that championship teams are known for. The Lions have been building a balanced roster, and adding McDuffie fits perfectly into their plan of creating a secondary that can match the best in the league. Their recent draft picks, like Goff and the emerging defensive stars, have laid a solid foundation. Now, bringing in a player like McDuffie could be the final piece to turn a good team into a true contender. Let's not forget the historical context here. The Lions have been knocking on the door for a while, flirting with playoff success, but falling short due to inconsistent secondary play or lacking that lockdown corner who can shut down the game's best receivers. This trade could be the catalyst that finally pushes Detroit over the edge into genuine Super Bowl contention. Imagine the roar at Ford Field if they manage to pull this off and secure a player who's projected to be a top 10 corner for years to come. The impact on the locker room, the confidence of the defense, and the overall team chemistry would be monumental. Of course, all of this hinges on whether the Chiefs are willing to part with McDuffie and if Detroit can meet their asking price. But considering the potential upside, it's a move that could define their season. The Lions have shown they're not afraid to make bold moves, and this could be the move that cements their status as serious contenders. It's about seizing opportunities, about making strategic decisions that push your team to the next level. And if they pull it off, fans can start dreaming even bigger, Super Bowl dreams in the heart of Detroit. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Detroit Lions. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Detroit Lions news.